we're going to do another problem with the graphing calculator that is in our textbook. This is number 69. I think some of them, I did this problem with some of the classes, but not with all of them. So, and this is something you can download for free to practice. It's not as user-friendly as having a calculator in your hand, but it helps you get familiar with some of the features that you need to solve these problems. So this is number 69 on page 98. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my y equals menu and I'm going to enter this function. And this function just has two terms here, so it's a binomial. And remember, for negative 10p, it's going to be, this is the negative sign. Do not use the subtraction sign. It'll give you an error. So negative 10. And whatever variable they use, here they're using R of p because we're dealing with revenue and price. Sometimes they use t, sometimes the variable is another letter besides x. That doesn't matter. On our calculator, we're going to use this button x. So negative 10x squared plus 1500p. I'm sorry, 1580p, or x. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and graph it. And it's not working. And all that means, nothing's wrong with my calculator. It just means that the window is not set to zoom in on where I want it to zoom in. I want to see my vertex. And I want to see, you know, that reflected parabola. Some of you in class called it a rainbow. That's what I want to see. So I need to adjust my window. Now we can guess and check with our window and play around, but there's an easier way that I was showing you in class, and that was the table. Let's look at the table. So let's first of all, let's use some logic here. We're talking about revenue, and we know it's going to be a reflected parabola. This is my vertex is a maximum. And let's see, when x is 0, it looks obviously my y is 0. And so anyway, let's look at my table set. So that's the second window. And I'll set my table at 0. And since I'm dealing with dollars, this is money that's going to grow rather quickly. I certainly don't want my table to go up by ones because then I'll be searching for the vertex forever. So for now, I would like my table to go up by 50. And remember, if you see that your x values are going up and they continue, I'm sorry, your y values are up and they continue to go up, you haven't reached the vertex yet. So let's go to second graph. That's my table. I'm going to look at my table. And at 0, I'm at 0. And at 50, so notice these values are already going down, right? And if you think about how a parabola is shaped, if it's already going down between 0 and 50, it means I've missed the vertex, that I've already missed it. So I'm going to have to go back and reset my table. And maybe instead of from 0 to 50, I'm going to go 0 to, maybe my table set can be from something else. Hold on, let me just kind of move this down. And let's go up by 10. Let's see what happens when I go up by 10. I'll go back to my table. All right, so at 10, so here let's see, are they increasing here? Yep. So at 0, my revenue is 0. My y is 14,800, 27,600. As you can see, my y values are going up. Okay, oh, did you guys see that? So my y values kept going up, 58,800, 61,600, 62,400, and then it went down. And that's how I know where the vertex is. Now, if you are doing this on the quiz or you're doing this for homework and you notice that your y values just keep going down, you've passed the vertex. If your y values keep going up, you're not there yet. You haven't missed the vertex. But if you keep looking at this and it keeps going up but you can't find the vertex, then change the table set. For instance, instead of going up by 10s, go up by 20s, or go up by 50s, or go up by 100s. So there's some adjustment involved. So the vertex anyways is right around here. Looks like my maximum y value, according to what I have, is about 62,400. I'm not saying that's the vertex. I'm saying the vertex is in that area. So now I know my window, and I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write down that my Y max is about 62,400. I'm actually going to make my Y max 63,000. And for the X value, for my X max, I'm going to double that. Remember the vertex, the X value of the vertex it only splits the parabola in half. This is halfway across. So I'm going to actually double that and add a little bit more. So double 80 is 160. I'm going to make my X max actually 200. And so let's go from there. So I'm going to make my X min 0. I'm going to make my X max 200. And why did I make it 200? Again, it's the X value that was with the vertex. It was 80, 62,000 something. And 80 is only half. You have to double the X value, but not the Y. So this X scale, it's not going to really change your graph. It just, how many tick marks do you want on your X axis? Well, since I'm going from 0 to 200, I don't want to count by 1. I think I want to count by 20. X min, for now, let's do 0. X max, let's do 63,000, a little more than my maximum value. Obviously, I don't want to count by ones if I'm going from 0 to 63,000. I want to count, I'm going to make my Y scale 3,000. Again, these numbers are just, I don't want 63,000 tick marks on my Y-axis. That's all, because it'll clutter it up. And there's no right or wrong answer. In fact, if you don't change it, it's not going to really affect your graph too much. So don't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to graph, and I should see, look at that. Beautiful. So I have a parabola. I can see my vertex. I like a little more room past my vertex. You see how my vertex is touching the top of the screen? I like a little more wiggle room. So I'm going to go back and make my Y max a little larger. In other words, I'm just extending the length of my Y-axis. So I'm going to go back to window, and my Y max was 63,000. You know what? I'm going to make it 64,000. Okay. Okay, that's a little better. And now I want to find my vertex. And a lot of you are using trace and just traveling up or traveling down, as the case may be, to find the vertex. That's great, but there's an easier way, because some of you are not getting the exact vertex. The calculator will do that for you. It's second calculate. See this button right above the trace? That will calculate the vertex for you. We know it's a maximum value, so we're going to go to second calc, and we are going to go to maximum, number 4. And the calculator just needs you to point out an area a little to the left of the vertex and a little to the right. You don't have to be precise. So I would say my cursor is to the left of the vertex. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to move all the way down here to the right. And I'm going to hit enter. Do I want to guess? No. I'm going to hit enter again. And give it a minute. And there it is. The maximum value, my vertex here, is 62,410. Okay. And that's how, so if I wanted to answer this question, this answers question C, because the revenue is the Y value. What is the maximum monthly revenue? You would answer $62,410. Here it says find the monthly revenues. Let's look at part A. Find the monthly revenues for the unit prices of $50, $70, and $90. Okay, well, prices, if I read the problem, P is the price per unit. So P is price, and here that's our X. So basically, it's asking find the Y value when X is 50, and when X is 70, and when X is 90. And here you could use trace. All you have to do, hit trace, key in 50, enter. And at 50, your Y value is $54,000. That means that when the unit price of whatever you're selling here, it's a digital picture frame, that's what you're selling. If your digital picture frame is $50, you will be making $54,000. I think this is a year. Let me see, and it's in thousands of dollars. So actually, we're adding 3 more zeros to that. So it's not 54,000. It's, what is this? 54 million, I think. Okay. So that's $50. Now I want to know, well, what's my revenue at $70? I'm going to hit trace again. I'm going to key in 70. It's that easy. At 70, this is my revenue. Okay. So remember, if this were a word problem and you want to make sure that you answer correctly, and says that, look at that first line, the monthly revenue in thousands of dollars. So that means that whatever the Y value is, you're adding 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So that means my actual revenue is $61,600,000. May you all make that kind of money one day. All right. So trace, and now I'm going to hit 90. And when my unit price of when I sell my picture frame for $90, my monthly revenue is right here. Okay. Let's read this problem again. The monthly revenue in thousands of dollars. That doesn't make sense for monthly revenue. I think that this stands, so it's really just 61,200. Anyway, so that's how easy it is to find the Y value at different X values. That's A. Find the unit price that will yield a maximum revenue. Well, if you read the problem, the price is right here. It's the independent variable. So they're basically asking us, what is the X value in the vertex? So we can go back, second calc, and hit enter, and I want to go to the right, and I want to hit enter, and then I want to guess. I don't want to guess. So it's the X value associated with my maximum revenue is 78.99. You can answer $78.99, or you can say $79. That I make my maximum, I make the most money when I charge $79. Okay, and the monthly revenue, we already did that. And as far as explaining your results, the vertex is the maximum point on my graph. Basically, that this tells me at what price am I going to make the most profit. So there's one problem with the graphing calculator. And again, let me show you actually where I downloaded this. So I have a Mac, so it was a little harder to download, but I still did it. So you want to go here. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's wabbit.codeplex.com. That's wabbitcodeplex.com. And once there, you want to select downloads. And depending on what kind of operating system you have, you can pick it, and there you go. And once you're done downloading it, you want to go to view, so that you can, because the calculator is only going to show just the screen. You have to hit view and add the skin. That's what it's called. See here. So it's not showing that now. It's dimmed because I already have the skin. But if you're having trouble downloading it too, you can go on YouTube. There's a ton of people that have already recorded it. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. See you all tomorrow.